Welcome to Dave's Tech Show.
Welcome to Dave's Tech Show indeed. On this amazingly cool episode, we're taking a look at these super awesome and incredibly cheap solar panel lights. And these ones actually are from Maplin's Electronics in the UK. And it's basically like the El Cheapo version of radio spares. And I've just lost some hits from Maplin's, haven't I? But basically it's a really sort of cheap kind of electronics shop in the UK. They do tons of random junk. Pretty much from everything from like LED Christmas tree lights to really cheap disco lights. Pretty much nothing you'd use seriously in the professional industry. But they do sell the occasional sort of like, you know, nice little packs of LEDs or whatever. Which is always good. So there's a little dig at Maplin's there. And also occasionally not so cheap. But these ones were certainly an amazing bargain. These little tiny lights come with these really quite evil spikes. I'm pretty sure in some areas of America that's banned for harmful weaponry. So that's probably airport security gone out. And they also come with these amazingly cool tubes with the beautiful Maplin's Electronics logo on there. But we're going to be taking a look at this. Yes. It comes with some destructions. A solar panelled stainless steel pulse light. Well, that's very nice, isn't it? Let's take a look at that. Environmentally friendly. Oh, there we go. So anyway, I can't stand environmental stuff. This comes with a lovely certification, little CE sticker in there, for some weird safety rating that never comes off. Oh, isn't that marvellous? It's been passed by Europe. There we go. Let's get that off there. Oh, that's lovely. There's a nice little 3mm LED with a kind of a recessed type top to that. It's unlike your standard LEDs. I mean, these red ones here, you get a 3mm diameter to the top, and they're quite a tall bulb. But the actual diode itself is, how can I put it, almost embedded in the base here. So then you've got your plus and your minus. But they're embedded in the base, whereas these ones have actually sort of like shallowed the dome down and put the diode on this very higher up. And I assume that rather than projecting the light into one place, because most of these taller 3mm LEDs actually have a output of approximately 12 degrees of light output, which is great if you're building things like LED par cans for theatre use or anything like that, or video lights or whatever. But for this solar panel, actually, they've done quite a neat little idea by using those little shallow LEDs. That's nice. It's got a little on-off light. Ooh, well, that's quite cool. Most of these, oh yeah, this one does it too. Don't know if you can see that on the camera. But basically, when the solar panel catches light, it turns the LED off, which is rather nice. I would assume they're doing that through some sort of like input feedback circuit or something, which is quite cool. Let's take it apart. Oh yeah, and the AA rolling into view there. It'd be amazing if it just exploded in my face. Ooh, the joy. Cut the green wire, Scotty. Here we go. Oh, that's actually quite nice. That's a AAA battery. I was expecting a couple of little sort of lithium daffy kind of button cell batteries, but no, they've gone with a 600 milliamp hour NIMH, which is that's rather nice. They've used something with a reasonable sort of capacity in it. It's actually not needed much, to be honest, because it has to charge and be able to run overnight. And 600 milliamp hour, I would assume, is more than adequate. I would reckon they would actually get away with probably about 300 milliamp hour, to be honest. Especially if they use a sort of like reasonable circuit. Oh, that's interesting. But I'd be interested to find out just how much power you can get off one of these little solar panel units off the top of these, because solar panels over the past few years have actually been made out of incredibly dangerous materials. I mean, things like selenium, which is quite a common one in some of the earlier units. And really, it's incredibly dodgy to try and get rid of that kind of stuff. But I haven't delved too much into solar panel technology. This is quite a cool little circuit, I suppose. Yeah, that's very interesting. They've got the solar panel, and it's being smoothed by this little tiny cap here. Resistance, I would assume, just to lower the brightness of the LEDs. So that's current limiting there. Current limiting. I'm sure there's a joke in there for that. But not currently. Oh, dreadful. Anyway, that's not a bad little circuit. These screws are pretty bad. But yeah, you've got a little tiny current limiting resistor in there. Try saying that whilst drunk. And a diode, which is quite nice. I would assume that this gives off some sort of frequency, and is designed to step the voltage up, which is kind of nice. I suppose it works in a very similar way, I suppose, to our Jewel Thief works, with this tiny little sort of like tranny style packaging. It's actually got 4 connections coming off this, and I would assume that most of these little tiny chips pulse width modulate and give off a frequency of about I think it's something like 200 kilohertz or something, or 200 hertz. I'm not entirely sure, but I know it's something 20 something, whatever. And yeah, so they kind of pulse width it, and yeah, got this nice little current LED there. What I'm surprised that I'm not seeing in this is some sort of like choke, some sort of inductor that would smooth that, to push the voltage up a little bit, to give it a bit of a helping hand. But I don't actually see in this. Maybe it's not needed. I mean, I'm not a profoundly proficient electronics engineer, but you know, hey ho, we all live and learn. But yeah, I actually think that's quite a neat little unit, to be honest. But one thing what I did do with these, because the poles that these things come with are absolutely annoying. They're just stupid to have inside a house. They don't fit properly. I mean, just a thing doesn't go in the hole, and where have we heard that before? And it just doesn't really work. I mean, plastic's fallen off all over the place. So yeah, I mean that's a real downside. But I come up with quite a reasonable idea actually for producing it. It's like almost a desktop type light, so that this LED here sits underneath here. I can't be bothered to put it back together, and it all sits like that. But it should sit on the table. But the profile of this light, obviously, is you've got your top here, with your solar panel sort of embedded in the top, and that's actually another thing for weather resistance. They haven't put anything around the outside. I mean, there's quite a gap in this actually. Yeah, I mean, I can fit my screwdriver down there, so it's probably about a mil or a 16th if you're in America. But yeah, there's quite a lot of a gap down that side. But with these solar lights, they've got this sort of diffuser, this plastic diffuser. But then this diffuser has obviously a kind of output piece of plastic here. And if you cut that off, you can actually make it sit on a table, which is quite nice, and you can get it to sort of sit upright like this quite happily. Whereas like that, it's a bit of a wobble type thing, and it falls over easily. But I mean, this thing is, you know, it's fairly stable actually, as long as you know you don't sort of want to shoot at it with a 2.2 air rifle or something, which of course is probably banned in quite a lot of areas. But Yeah. Oh, that's another thing actually, which that transistor probably does, or tranny type package probably does, is when it notices a high output on here on this little solar panel, it would obviously disable the power to the LED, which is kind of cool actually. But I wonder how that's linked. You've got a power input there, the little on-off switch, which is kind of cool. So you've got power. Dear, that's dreadful. Then you've got a nice little switch, which and that goes to that there. I'd assume. Yeah. So that's there. So you've got your little resistor there, and then you've got a super cool LED. I would have preferred to have seen LED with a lot more orange, kind of a warmer glow would have been nicer. And what else have you got in here? Oh, you've got your cap, obviously. So that links to positive, negative. So that would be in here somewhere. Your capacitor. So you've kind of got that in the circuitry. And you've got this little tiny sort of TO package which kind of sits in the way in all simplest kind of form. So you've got that little TO, is it TO95 or TO92, something like that anyway. Trying to write sideways there. Yeah, and that's sort of how it works. That's yeah. So there we go. Macklins do actually have the odd bargain. Unbelievable. Who would have thought that? Macklins actually have something worthwhile. So there we are, the solar panel LED lamp with the very nice desktop table light mod, you see. All garden, which is quite cool, it creates that kind of effect. But all garden lights don't just have to be for the garden, they can actually be quite a nice little desk piece. I mean, I hang this up in the toilet, you could hang this on your Christmas tree, you can have a new, I can't even bear to use that word, environmentally friendly Christmas tree. It's really not, because the chemicals, as I say, that are given out by these solar panels, I mean, I'm sure some sort of like environmental junkie is going to like prance on me for that, but yeah, these are really nice. Beautiful, really.